Bomb Jamie officially confirms divorce from Amelia, but the hidden truth will surprise everyone. Early on a misty Tuesday morning, in a mansion deep in the woods outside Somerset, Jamie Dornan's phone rang. He had just woken up from a night of filming the final scene of his new blockbuster, a scene in which he plays a father forced to choose between family and fame. On the other end of the line was his close manager, his voice trembling slightly. Jamie, something big. Amelia wants to talk right away. Jamie was sleepy. He knew, Amelia wants to talk, was never a simple conversation. When he walked to the living room and opened the door, he saw Amelia Warner standing in the pale light of dawn, her face sad, her arms lightly crossed over her chest. There were no children around, her 3 daughters were fast asleep. Amelia looked at him. Jamie, I think we should have a serious talk about divorce. Jamie was struck by lightning. The word, divorce, rang not as a threat but as a verdict. Amelia, what did you say? He asked, his voice hoarse with surprise. She was silent for a moment, then said, I'm tired, Jamie. Tired of always being the backroom staff. Tired of our worlds being so far apart. Jamie's mind was in turmoil. The stage lights, the screaming fans, the endless filming days, and the nights he came home but still felt like he was on set. He took her hand. Can we talk about it? I think we can find another way. Amelia shook her head slightly. No, Jamie. I've been thinking about it for a long time. I need freedom to find myself again. And that's when the news of Jamie Dornan officially confirms divorce from Amelia Warner leaked out, but it was only part of the real story behind the glitz. The signs. There were signs before this morning's event. Jamie recalls the past few months. While he was away filming in Berlin, Los Angeles, and Tokyo, Amelia was home alone with her 3 daughters, Dulcie, Elva, and Alberta. He video chatted every day, but her eyes were always distant. Earlier, at a party in London, Jamie saw Amelia standing in a corner, holding a glass of red wine, staring out the window, not talking to anyone. When he approached, she smiled wryly, just a little tired. Another time, when he returned home at midnight after a tiring shoot, he opened the door to find the house completely silent. Only Amelia's figure was in the darkness of the study, the piano open and unfinished. She was tapping a few keys as if searching for a new melody, as if she were resetting her heartbeat. Jamie began to sense that between them was no longer us, but 2 people walking side by side, but each looking in a different direction. Family meeting. After that early morning conversation, Jamie and Amelia decided to hold a family meeting in the afternoon. They all sat in the living room, the sunset streaming through the window, the 3 girls playing together, not yet aware of the heavy atmosphere spreading. Jamie stood up first. Kids, Dad and Mom have an important talk to do. Dad and Mom love you very much, but it seems like Dad and Mom, we are having a hard time. Dulcie, 10, looked at Dad with a curious and worried look. What's wrong, Dad? Elva, 7, silently hugged her teddy bear. Alberta, 4, picked up the soda meeting for a glass of water. Amelia gently continued, Mommy and Daddy have been thinking for a long time, and I think we should live separately for a while to find ourselves again. Silence. Jamie choked. Kids, Daddy and I won't leave you. Daddy and I are still your parents. It's just, Daddy and I are trying a different way to be together, or not together. The kids didn't cry. Dulcie gently held her hand, and Alberta continued playing with the toy car. Jamie felt emptier than any scene he had ever filmed. He looked at Amelia, saw tears rolling down her cheeks. He knew, this decision wasn't easy for her. The press rushed in, the divorce news spread quickly, paparazzi caught Jamie walking alone at Heathrow Airport in the middle of the night, his eyes tired. Amelia was photographed alone in the villa garden, hunched over, her hair disheveled. The media headlined, Jamie Dornan officially confirms divorce from Amelia Warner. But in the real story, it wasn't official, in the formal sense. It was just that they both agreed to enter a new phase. Jamie was getting calls from his agency. He had to issue a press release, he had to protect his image, he had to explain. But Jamie was burning. He wanted to protect his family, but he didn't want to take on more pressure from the media. Amelia posted a minimalist photo on Instagram, an empty chair by the window, captioned, "A new melody begins." Fans and the press immediately deciphered, fight, give up, rebirth, private days. After the news broke, Jamie and Amelia agreed to keep quiet and focus on their 3 daughters. They rented 2 houses close together, to make it easier to share parenting. Jamie in London, Amelia in Somerset. In the early days, Jamie still participated in filming, met with directors, attended events. But every night, he rushed home and spent time with his daughter, telling stories to Dulcie, reading Elva and Alberta bedtime stories. Amelia, in her new home, began to write more music. She returned to the piano, writing sad, hopeful melodies, a way of releasing herself. Slowly, Jamie began to realize, he had spoken when he thought fame was everything. The grand swing bridge warnings, the swing bridge lanterns, the praise from the press, none of it made up for the loss of simple family laughter. Amelia also realized, she had retreated too far into Jamie's shadow. But now, she wanted her own work to resonate, not just as wife of. One winter evening, it was pouring rain. Jamie drove to their old villa, where the 3 girls were playing together, and Amelia was preparing cakes for dinner. The family sat in the warm living room, the sound of rain hitting the windows creating a unique melody. Jamie took Amelia's hand. "You know, if I had a choice to go back, I would still choose you. But if we can't be the 2 of us, then maybe we should be 2 friends, 2 parents working together." Amelia looked at him, her eyes full of emotion. "Jamie, I never didn't love you. I just loved myself, too. And I know, if I don't stand up for myself, I'll lose myself." They were silent. The 3 girls ran over, put their hands on their parents' hands. "Are you okay?" Dulcie asked. Jamie bent down. "There's nothing to be afraid of. It's just that you'll do things a little differently." Alberta laughed. "You're still with me." Jamie and Amelia looked at each other and laughed, a soft laugh in the middle of the room. And in that moment, they decided, not to get divorced right away, but to give each other, and themselves, a little more time. But if the roads still couldn't be connected, there would be a gentle goodbye, no anger, for each to move on. A new road. Time passed, 3 months turned into 6, then 9. Jamie received praise for his new role, but he was even happier to be home, to hear his 3 daughters speaking a Northern Irish English accent, and to see Amelia sitting at the writing table, her eyes lighting up as she composed a new song. Amelia released a new EP, a gentle but powerful tune. Jamie smiled at her before the premiere. "You're amazing." She turned back. "Thanks to you for knowing I would wait." They didn't talk about divorce anymore, at least not with that word attached. They talked about distance, but also about connection. They learned to say no when necessary, to rearrange their schedules, to let their daughters know that both parents were there, whether under one roof or 2. And strangely enough, they felt closer. Because when something big changes, the change makes it clearer what needs to stay. A new dawn. One spring morning, Jamie and Amelia walked along the cherry blossom-lined path near the Somerset home. The three girls ran around, laughing, laughter ringing in the clear air. Jamie took out his phone and filmed Amelia standing under the fallen blossoms, the sunlight shining on her hair. "You know," he said, "when I first saw you, I thought, we're going to be okay." Amelia looked into his eyes and said softly, "And now I know. We're okay, in a different way." Jamie hugged her. In our way. They were silent, listening only to the rustling of the wind, the falling flowers, and the three daughters behind them playing with a dog marking the new season. Their life was not smooth in the sense of being without storms, but it was more real, more sincere. And if the newspapers one day wrote that Jamie Dornan officially divorced Amelia Warner, then in their hearts there was another truth: they did not divorce love, they only divorced what was no longer suitable. And they chose to let love grow, not in the old form, but in its own way.